Well, here we are. I'm my little lonesome today. Colin's away from business. Could be back next week with a bit of luck. I want to talk about the last grand final, the last game of the grand final of the year from the MCG between Sydney and the Doggies. Capacity crowd of about 98,000 people. But before that, I'll just show you one of these cuttings from way back in the 60s when Peatling was missed the last home and away game in the season, and that was the headline from Murray Lawson of the Women Mail Times. Wasn't a bad sort of headline for about a 19-year-old fella, and what happened in the last 5 minutes of the game, of the last home and away game season, I got a whack in the knee and whack in the side of my leg, and cut a long story short, I was in hospital for 6 weeks with a bruised nerve, and we actually got beat in that semi-final, so Murray Lawson was pretty right, wasn't he? So that was one of the bad sort of headlines for a young Bazza boy back in the days. Now, back to the big game on last Saturday at the MCG. 98,000 people, not a bad sort of a crowd for, well, I thought it might have been over that, but capacity crowd and good weather, and I just talked to my mate Tony a couple of nights ago. I'll tell you about it. It was an amazing effort by the Dogs, Tony, and all my viewers out there. In the first quarter, they held Sydney to 1 goal. In the last 2 finals of Sydney's played this season, they kicked 7 or 8 goals and just about wiped the other teams out of the game. But the Doggies held them to 1 goal, and the quarter time score was 2 goals to 1 goal too. And the second quarter was a very even side. Sydney kicked 6 goals to the Dogs 5. So it was they started to spark up a bit. But I thought the Doggies were playing a lot better. At half time it was the Doggies 7-1, pretty good kicking, to Sydney 7-3. But the second half was another even quarter, and the Dogs still had a bit of a slender lead to go to the last quarter, leading by Sydney 8 goals 3 to Doggies 9 goals 7. Wasn't much in it, but I do think, I was telling my friends that when I was watching the game, that I reckon Sydney was looking very good most of the day. I mean, they held them in the first quarter. I reckon they might have won the game in the first quarter because they held them to 1 goal. I mean, they just dominated the last couple of weeks, Sydney, but well, they led nearly every change, Sydney, because at 3/4 time Sydney was 8-3 to Doggies 9-7. And of course the last quarter they really stood up, the Doggies. All the players lifted up, Bonaparte, Callum Daniel, even Strinker got in the game. He was very quiet for most of the game, but he got in the game last quarter, and Jack McRae, look, they've got a lot of fellas' names that you've never heard of, but I can tell you now, in the next 4 or 5 years they're going to be big names, these young fellas, I can tell you now. But the last quarter they just showed a lot of fights. I got written down here, and a challenge from Sydney, and came away with a good win with a final score, Sydney 10-7 to the Dogs 13-11. A very good win, and I was quite happy because I backed Footscray, the Doggies, last week, during the week, and I give 9.5 points, beg your pardon, they had to win by 9.5 points for me to win the money. And with about a quarter now to go, they were only about 3 points in front. They finished up winning by 21 points, and Bazza got the money. 4-1, very good. PH, if you're watching this, it was pretty nerve-wracking, but they did finish very well in the last 10 minutes of the game, and that's what won the game. I think they were just too strong all the way around. For an inexperienced side like they were, like Sydney's a very professional side the last 5 years. They've been in 2 to 3 grand finals, for God's sake. But anyhow, it was a very good win. Now I'll give you the goal kickers and the best players. I suppose you're sort of missing the voice of Colin Sutcliffe, who's been pretty busy the last couple of weeks, so I'm doing this on my own for the first time, so I might make a few boo-boos here, because a lot of muck around getting this video to get on air, because you've got to know what you're doing, but I've got a rough idea. But the goal kickers for the Doggies, the Tommy Boyd kicked 3. Oh, I didn't mention him before. He was a star, Tommy Boyd. Liam Pickens, Billy Pickens, the Billy Pickens, the Collingwood superstar back in the 70s and 80s. That's his son, Liam Picken. He kicked 3 goals and Tory Dixon kicked 1. As for Sydney, who kicked the goals there? They didn't have... Josh Kennedy kicked 3 goals. He was their best player by far. Tommy Mitchell, that's Barry Mitchell, the ex-South Melbourne player. He was, that's his son, Tommy Mitchell, was a star too. So, and of course the best players for the Doggies, probably wouldn't be able to leave too many out, but I sort of got these fellas out. Bonapelli, I mentioned before, Bonapelli, Jason Johansson, Tom Boyd, Liam Picken, Clay Smith, Lockie Hunter, Tommy Liberatore, Tory Dixon and Toby McLean. They didn't have any passengers, I can tell you now. But for Sydney, Josh Kennedy was outstanding, mate. He was outstanding, all my viewers out there. Rampy is another superstar up on the way up. He's only a young fella. Because Tommy Mitchell, he had 32 possessions, and Parker was reasonably quiet, but he played all right. And Lloyd was the other fella we put in for Sydney, but they had a few of their stars not firing on the weekend, I can tell you now. And the votes, I gave 1 vote to Josh Kennedy. I think he had 35 possessions. I believe he had 22 for half time. Played well all day. Jason Johansson, he's had 35 possessions too. He's you've never heard of his name before, but I'll tell you, you're going to hear a lot more down the track, I can tell you now. And of course, Tom Boyd, number 17, took about 8 or 9 marks, pack marks, kicked 3 goals. He's a star, mate. So there's the goal kickers and the best players. I beg your pardon. And I'll give you, I've just got it written down here. There is so much raw talent in this team. It's unbelievable because some of these players I've never heard of, but I can tell you now they're going to be superstars the next 5 years. And I'll tell you what, the coach, I reckon this might be a record. I think he's only been coaching for 3 years. I reckon that it's got to be nearly a world, an AFL, VFL record to coach a premiership side in the first 3 years of his coaching career. I might be wrong, and I'll stand by that at the moment, but I reckon it's nearly got to be a record for a short-term coach to win a premiership in the AFL. And I've got written down here the power that these are going. Footscray and Doggies, they're going to be a powerhouse for the next 5 years. You can back it in right now. They will be in the top 4 for the next 5 years. I can back it right in now. And of course, Luke Beveridge, I just mentioned him before. He's got all the players right behind him, and he's got the players playing for him too. He's a man of few words, and it was a very nice gesture to give his grand final medallion to Robbie. What's his name? The ex-captain. What's his second name? But he's the captain of Footscray side at the moment, but he was out injured. He called him up on the stage and gave his medallion to Robbie, ex-captain, the captain of the Footscray team. That was a very, very nice gesture of Mr. Luke Beveridge. That was I've never seen. I mean, that was. Those medallions, they stay forever, don't they? But that was a very, very, I can't believe he's given it to him. So that's how good a fellow he is, that's how good a coach he is. And what else have I got to say about this game? I'll tell you what, the Luke Beveridge record, players, and the average age of the team of the Doggies is 23. Average age. I mean, that's Sydney, I reckon they'll be in it. Their average age would probably be 27, at least. But they're going to be a power-packed team for the next 5, 6, might be more years. And but apart from that, that's all I've got to say about this is my first time doing this video. So if I made a few boo-boos today, for my viewers out there all around the world, understand this is my first time. We generally give Cheerios now. Cheerios to PH, Sandy and Carlos. How you going? How's things going, PH? Hope everything's going alright. Maria and what's her name? God, Alma, beg your pardon. Alma and her daughters, Mary Rose, Mary Ann, and of course Tony Cornwell, my number 1 first cousin up in Cairns. Hope you're getting this loud and clear, Tony. I'll probably be speaking to you in the next hour or so because I'm doing this on the Monday, this video. And apart from that, is that all I've got to tell the viewers out there? I think that's all. Yeah, that's about all for the first time for Barry Peating to do this video on his own. I don't got through it all right, but I don't think I've haven't got to mention anybody, and so hopefully you'll get this loud and clear. When I get this, I'm going to try and download it now. I've been told what to do, so that's all we got for today from me, and you'll probably might hear from Colin the next couple of weeks because he's pretty busy at work at the moment, but that's all we got for today. See you all next week. Bye bye. Press the right button here.